Silence. Funny how the world fears it. They can scream at you, tear you apart with their words. And yet, when you respond with nothing, when you strip them of the reaction they crave, they lose their grip. They're like dogs barking at a stone wall, frustrated, powerless. You see, my friend, people think power lies in words, in their ability to get under your skin, to make you flinch. They think it's in the insults they hurl, or the control they pretend to have over you. But let me tell you something real. Their power, it's an illusion. It's smoke and mirrors. It only works if you let it. React, and you give them the fuel they need. Stay silent, and you starve them of it. Think about this. Ever seen a fire? It roars and blazes, consumes everything in its path. But take away the oxygen, and what happens? It dies. That's what your silence does. It suffocates the flames of their control. Every time you hold your tongue, every time you refuse to give them the satisfaction of your pain, you're cutting off their air supply. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, but Joker, isn't that weakness? Isn't silence just letting them win? No, no, no. Silence isn't weakness. It's restraint. It's power. The strongest man in the room isn't the one who shouts the loudest. It's the one who stands unshaken while chaos rages around him. You've been through it, haven't you? The betrayals, the lies, the people who smiled to your face while sharpening the knife for your back. They wanted to see you fall. They wanted you to beg, to crumble. But here's the truth. They can't handle. You're still standing. Let me tell you about a wolf, a lone wolf, cast out of the pack. The world sees him as weak because he's alone. But that wolf, he learns to survive on his own, to hunt without help, to endure the cold without warmth. That wolf becomes stronger than the pack could ever imagine. And when the time comes, that same wolf can tear apart the very pack that abandoned him. You, my friend, are that wolf. You don't need them. You don't need their approval, their pity, their fake love. They want you to chase after them, to beg for their attention. Don't. Show them nothing. Not a word, not a glance. Show them your back as you walk away. That's where your strength lies, in refusing to play their game. People will call you cold. They'll call you heartless. Let them, because they'll never understand what it took for you to survive. They didn't see the nights you spent alone, the tears you wiped away when no one was looking. They didn't hear the battles in your head, the ones you fought just to keep going. And you know what's funny? The same people who mock you, who try to break you, they're the ones who fear you the most. They fear the silence because it means they don't matter. It means their words have no weight, their actions, no consequence. Silence is your shield, your weapon. Let me break it down for you. Life is like a chessboard. Every move, every reaction, it's a piece you give away. Show them anger, and you've lost a pawn. Show them fear, and you've given away your queen. But stay still, keep your silence, and you've checkmated them without moving a piece. Think about the greats, the ones who truly changed the world. They didn't waste their energy arguing with fools. They didn't stop to explain themselves to those who wouldn't understand. No, they moved in silence. Let their actions do the talking. And when they struck, it was decisive. Here's the thing. People will try to control you because they're terrified of losing control over their own lives. They project their insecurities onto you, their fears, their failures. They want you to carry the weight of their brokenness so they don't have to face it. Don't fall for it. You've got to be like water. Water doesn't argue with the rocks in its path. It flows around them, over them, through them. It carves its own way, silently, persistently. And in the end, it shapes the very rocks that try to stop it. So, here's my advice. Let them talk. Let them scheme. Let them try to break you. But show them no reaction. None. Their power ends where your silence begins. Walk away from their noise, their drama, their chaos. Focus on your path, your goals, your strength. And when the day comes, and it will come, when they realize they couldn't break you, they'll fear you. Not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. Not because of what you did, but because of what you became. Stand tall, be the wolf, not the sheep. Be the silence, not the noise. And remember this, your silence isn't just the absence of words. It's the presence of power. It's the loudest thing they'll never hear. They don't deserve your pain. Save it for yourself. Use it to build, to rise, to conquer. And when you do, when you've reached the top, look back, not to gloat, not to pity, but to remind yourself that silence was the key all along. But I know it's not easy, is it? Silence isn't the path most people take. They run their mouths because they're afraid of being forgotten, of being irrelevant. But let me tell you a secret. Words are cheap. They're empty currency for people with empty lives. Actions, silence. Now that is expensive. Only the strong can afford it. They're gonna test you. Oh, they'll poke, prod, try to get a rise out of you. Why? Because your reaction validates their existence. It gives them purpose, meaning. Don't give it to them. Let them scream into the void while you remain untouchable. That's power. That's dominance. Do you know what happens when you react? When you argue, you've already lost. The moment you respond, you're playing their game on their terms. They're not looking for resolution. No, they're looking for control. They want to drag you into their chaos because that's where they thrive. But you don't belong in the mud. You were born for higher places. You ever see a lion react to the barking of dogs? Never. The king doesn't lower himself to the level of peasants. He keeps his head high, his stride steady. He doesn't need to prove his power. It's understood. Be that lion. And when they come at you with their petty games, their insults, their betrayal, because they will, don't flinch. Don't blink. Silence isn't just your weapon. It's your fortress. Build your walls high. Let no one in who doesn't deserve it. Ah, but I know what you're thinking. What if it hurts? What if the silence feels like loneliness? My friend, that's where they've got you twisted. Silence isn't loneliness. It's solitude. There's a difference. Loneliness is when you're begging for someone to fill the void. Solitude is when you've learned to fill it yourself. You've got to learn to enjoy your own company. Become your own fortress, your own kingdom. When you're truly comfortable being alone, no one can use isolation as a weapon against you. And trust me, they'll try. They'll abandon you, ghost you, cut you off just to see you crumble. Don't. Stand taller. Smile through it. You think the sun cares when the clouds block its light? No. It waits. Patiently. It knows the clouds will pass, that its warmth will be felt again. You, my friend, are that sun. And the people trying to block your light, they're temporary, fleeting. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who was mocked, ridiculed, cast aside. They said he'd never amount to anything. They laughed at his failures, at his pain. And do you know what he did? He stayed silent. He didn't fight back. He didn't try to prove them wrong. He let his work, his grind, his success speak for itself. And when the day came, when he stood on top of the mountain, they were the ones scrambling for his attention. But by then, he didn't need them. He had already won. That's your future. But only if you learn to master the art of silence. Silence isn't passive, it's active. It's a choice, a discipline. It's saying, I don't need your validation. I don't need your approval. I am enough as I am. The world will try to tell you otherwise. It will scream at you, shove its insecurities in your face. Don't listen. They don't know your story, your struggles, your scars, and they never will, because you owe them nothing. Not your pain, not your joy, not your energy. Ah, scars. Let's talk about those, shall we? You've got them, don't you? Physical, emotional, mental. They tried to use them to break you, to define you. But scars, they're not weaknesses. They're badges of honor. Proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. Wear them with pride. Let them remind you of what you overcame. And when they point at your scars, when they try to use them against you, just smile. Because those scars, they terrify them. They remind them of your strength, your resilience. They remind them that you've been through hell and came out the other side. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your survival. You don't owe them an apology for your silence. Let them wonder. Let them speculate. Their assumptions are not your burden. And one last thing. Don't let anger consume you. I know. It's tempting. They've hurt you, betrayed you, lied to you. The rage burns, doesn't it? But anger, it's a double-edged sword. Wield it wisely. Use it to fuel your grind, your success. But don't let it control you, because the ultimate revenge isn't anger. It's indifference. It's looking at the people who tried to break you and realizing they don't matter. Not anymore. Not ever. My friend, when the world comes for you, when it tries to drag you down, remember this. Show them no reaction. Their power ends where your silence begins. And in that silence, you'll find something far greater. Peace, strength, freedom. You know what's funny about silence? It's not just a defense, it's a weapon. People think words cut deep, but silence is the blade they never see coming. It slices through their illusions, their egos, their false sense of power. You ever notice how uncomfortable people get when you don't respond? They fidget, they stammer, they try harder to provoke you. Why? Because they're scared. Scared of the void your silence creates. Scared of the reflection they see in it. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a man standing in a crowd, everyone shouting at him, mocking him, demanding his reaction. But he stands still, his face calm. His eyes steady. The crowd grows louder, more desperate, and then one by one they fall silent. Why? Because they realize their words have no power over him. That's what you need to be. A stone in a sea of noise, unmoved, untouchable. They'll call you arrogant, cold, unfeeling. Let them. They can't understand the strength it takes to remain silent in a world that thrives on noise. They don't see the discipline it requires, the self-control. Silence is not the absence of emotion. It's the mastery of it. It's knowing when to speak and when to let your silence scream louder than any words ever could. But don't get me wrong, it's not about being passive. Silence isn't about hiding. It's about choosing. Choosing what deserves your energy, your attention. Most people, they're not worth it. They don't deserve to hear your pain, your story, your truth. They'll twist it, use it against you. So guard it, protect it. Think of your silence as a vault, and inside it is your power. Don't open that vault for just anyone. Most people aren't worthy of what's inside. They haven't earned it. And if they try to force it open, lock it tighter. And here's the thing. When you choose silence, you force the world to listen to your actions. Because actions, my friend, are the loudest language. When you rise, when you succeed, when you thrive, despite everything they did to you, that's when you speak. Not with words, but with results. Look, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's not. The world doesn't like people who don't play by its rules. They'll try to break you, to force you to conform. They'll say, "Why aren't you defending yourself? Why aren't you fighting back?" But here's the truth. They're not looking for answers. They're looking for weakness. Don't give it to them. You've got to understand something about people. They're addicted to control. They want to control how you think, how you feel, how you react. But silence takes that control away. It puts the power back in your hands. Think about the greats, the warriors, the leaders, the legends. They didn't waste their breath on the opinions of lesser men. They didn't stop to explain themselves to those who couldn't see their vision. They kept moving forward, focused, relentless. That's what you need to do. You've got a storm inside you, I can see it. It's raging, tearing you apart. But that storm, it's not your enemy, it's your power. Harness it, channel it, let it fuel you. Because storms don't apologize for their destruction, and neither should you. Here's another thing most people won't tell you. Silence isn't just about ignoring the noise around you. It's about silencing the noise within. Those voices in your head, the ones telling you you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, shut them up. Drown them out with action, with progress. You ever hear the phrase, "Are still waters run deep"? That's you. Calm on the surface, but beneath, depths they can't even begin to fathom. That's your strength. They'll underestimate you because you don't show your cards, because you don't react the way they expect. Let them. Let their ignorance be your advantage. But don't let your silence turn into isolation. There's a difference. Silence is a tool, a strategy. Isolation, that's a trap. Build your circle carefully. Surround yourself with those who understand your silence, who respect it. Not everyone will. Most won't. And that's okay. Quality over quantity. Always. Remember this. Every great movement starts in silence. The most profound changes, the most powerful revolutions, they begin in the quiet moments when no one is watching. That's where you are now, in the silence, laying the foundation for something greater. And when the time comes, when you've built your empire, when you've reached the heights they said you never could, they'll realize their mistake. They'll see that their words, their noise, their games, they were nothing. They were dust. You don't need to announce your plans, your dreams, your struggles. Keep them guessing. Keep them wondering. Mystery is power. Let your silence speak for you. And when you do speak, make it count. Every word, every action, Make it a statement they'll never forget. When you walk away from the noise, from the chaos, don't look back. The past has nothing new to say. Focus on the path ahead. It's yours to carve, yours to conquer. And when you reach the end, you'll realize the truth. The silence wasn't just a tool. It was your greatest ally. You see, silence is more than just a reaction or the lack of one. It's an art, a strategy. But like any weapon, it takes practice, it takes patience, because they'll come at you harder when they realize you're not playing their game. They'll dig deeper, push further, testing every boundary until you either break or prove unbreakable. That's the beauty of it. Silence forces them to show their hand while you remain untouchable. Let me give you an example. Imagine a chessboard. Life, my friend, is one big game of chess. Every move matters. Every reaction is a piece you sacrifice. Now, most people, they throw away their pawns without thinking. They react to every jab, every insult, every provocation. And before they know it, they're cornered, out of moves, out of power. But you're not most people. You gotta play the long game. Don't respond to their noise. Don't fall for their traps. Hold your ground. Let them make their moves. And when the time is right, when they've exhausted themselves trying to break you, that's when you strike. Not with words, not with anger, but with action, with results. Checkmate. They'll hate you for it, you know. Your silence, it terrifies them because it forces them to face themselves, their insecurities, their fears, their failures. When you don't react, when you don't give them the validation they crave, they're left alone with their own demons. And trust me, that's the one thing they can't handle. People, my friend, are like mirrors. They reflect what you give them. Show them anger, and they'll throw it back at you tenfold. Show them fear, and they'll feast on it. But show them nothing, show them silence, they crack, they shatter under the weight of their own emptiness. It's ironic, isn't it? The louder they scream, the more they reveal how powerless they really are. And the quieter you remain, the more power you hold. That's the game. That's the secret. But don't think for a second that silence is easy. It's not. It's a battle, a war even. Against them, yes, but also against yourself. Against the part of you that wants to lash out, to scream, to fight back. You've got to master that part of yourself. Control it. Tame it. Because once you do, you become untouchable, unstoppable. You ever hear the phrase, speak softly and carry a big stick? That's the essence of silence. You don't need to shout to make an impact. You don't need to fight every battle to win the war. Save your energy for the moments that matter. Let your actions speak louder than their noise ever could. And speaking of actions, let me tell you something about them. Actions, unlike words, leave no room for doubt. Words can be twisted, misunderstood. But actions, they're undeniable. When you rise above their petty games, when you succeed despite their efforts to bring you down, that's a language they can't argue with. That's a statement they can't ignore. Build, create, grow in silence. Let them wonder what you're up to. Let them question how you're still standing. Let their curiosity eat away at them. And when the time comes, unveil your masterpiece. Not out of spite, not out of vengeance, but because you owe it to yourself to be everything they said you couldn't be. You know what else silence does? It gives you clarity. When you stop reacting to the noise, you start hearing yourself, your true self, your goals, your dreams, your purpose. The world tries so hard to drown that out, to distract you with its chaos. But silence cuts through the noise. It brings you back to what matters. It's like standing in the eye of a hurricane. The storm rages around you, screaming, tearing everything apart. But in the center, stillness, peace. That's what silence is. A refuge, a sanctuary. And from that place of stillness, you can see everything clearly. Your enemies, your allies, your path forward. But here's the catch. Not everyone will understand your silence. Most people won't. They'll see it as weakness, as indifference. They'll try to pull you back into their noise, their chaos. Don't let them. Protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because it does. And when they say you've changed, when they accuse you of being cold, distant, unfeeling, let them. They're right. You have changed. You've grown, evolved. You're no longer the person they could manipulate, control, destroy. You're stronger now, smarter, more focused. You've become the storm they tried to escape. And the best part? They'll never see it coming because you didn't announce it. You didn't warn them. You let your silence do the talking. And when it spoke, it roared. My friend, the next time they come at you with their games, their lies, their noise, remember this. You don't owe them a reaction. You don't owe them an explanation. Show them no reaction. None. Their power ends where your silence begins. And in that silence, you'll find something they'll never understand. Freedom. Freedom from their expectations, their judgments, their control. Freedom to be who you are, unapologetically. To live life on your terms. Because at the end of the day, silence isn't just a tool, it's a declaration, a revolution, a promise to yourself that you will not be broken. Not by them, not by anyone. But I know what you're thinking. What about justice? What about fairness? Shouldn't they pay for what they've done to me? Oh, my dear friend, justice is a lovely idea, but it's not for this world. Fairness? It's a myth told to keep the weak quiet while the strong feast on them. No, you're not here to wait for justice. You're here to create it on your terms. But here's the thing, justice doesn't need to be loud. Revenge doesn't need to be flashy. The sweetest victories, they're silent, quiet. The kind of victories where the world doesn't see it coming until it's too late. And those who wronged you, they'll realize it only when they're left choking on their own irrelevance. You want an example? Fine. Look at the seeds of a tree. Tiny, insignificant, buried under dirt. No one notices them. No one cares. But while the world moves on, those seeds are working, growing, pushing through the darkness. And then one day, they break the surface. They tower over everything. The dirt that tried to bury them becomes the foundation for their strength. That's you. You're that seed. Small now, maybe, but growing, silent, unstoppable. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe their lies about you. That's their weakness, not yours. Because while they're wasting their energy tearing you down, you're building. Every step you take in silence, every move you make without announcing it, it's a step toward a version of you they won't be able to handle. And when you finally emerge, don't look for their validation. Don't seek their apology or their acknowledgement. Their words won't matter then, just like they don't matter now. What matters is you, what you've built, what you've become. But silence, my friend, isn't just about keeping your mouth shut. It's about focus, discipline. It's about choosing where your energy goes. And trust me, most people don't deserve your energy. They haven't earned it. They never will. Think of it this way. Your energy is a currency, and most people are bad investments. They'll drain you, waste you, and give you nothing in return. So stop spending it on them. Invest in yourself, in your growth, in your future. That's where the real wealth is. And here's the funny thing about silence. It drives people mad. They can't stand it. They thrive on reactions, on drama, on chaos. When you deny them that, when you give them nothing, they spiral. They start to question themselves, doubt their own power. Your silence becomes their torment. It's poetic, really. But don't let their madness consume you. Stay focused. Stay calm. Remember, you're not here to play their games. You're here to win the long war. And that war, it's not against them. It's against the version of you they tried to create. The weak, broken, desperate version they wanted you to be. That's your real enemy. And every time you choose silence, every time you walk away from their noise, you're defeating that enemy. You're reclaiming yourself. And oh, the day you reclaim yourself fully, the day you stand tall and unshakable, that's the day they'll realize their mistake. But by then, it'll be too late. You'll be untouchable, unreachable, a force they can't reckon with. Let me tell you something else about silence. It's contagious. When you stop reacting, stop explaining, stop engaging, you inspire others to do the same. You show them another way. And understand that. That's me. Real. The kind that doesn't need to shout to be heard. But remember, silence isn't about running away. It's about standing your ground without giving them the satisfaction of seeing you waver. It's about saying, I don't need your approval, your attention, your validation. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone diminish it. And don't think for a second that silence makes you weak. Weakness is letting them pull you into their games. Strength is refusing to play. Weakness is reacting out of anger, out of fear. Strength is staying calm, staying focused, staying silent. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. You're not here to be liked or understood. You're here to rise, to build, to thrive. And the only person you owe that to is yourself. So, when the noise gets too loud, when the world tries to drag you down, remember this: your silence is your power, your shield, your sword. Wield it wisely and let them wonder, let them question, let them fear the quiet storm that is you. Because at the end of the day, their noise is temporary, their opinions fleeting, but your silence, that's eternal. That's unshakable. That's you. So go. Not with words, not with anger, but with purpose. And let your silence do what it does best. Speak louder than their noise.